Hey guys, this is Derek.
This is Stephanie.
We're a grain-free homestead, and today we have some sad news. Every time, just all seasons of life, you go through some good times and you go through some bad times. And we had an incident that happened last Saturday here on our homestead that really kind of changed the course of things, and it's going to cause us to have to reset some of our goals and start over with our chickens.
So we were gone for a little while Saturday morning. We came home and we heard a dog that was not our dog barking, and kind of where we're at, we knew something wasn't right because there shouldn't really be other dogs around us. So I ran to the back of the house where the chickens were, and I saw a smaller dog running around barking. Thought he was just barking at the chickens, in their enclosure, because we don't let them out to free range unless we're home. And I came a little closer, and at that point I saw a dog inside our coop and hoop coop enclosure, and I also saw all of our birds on the ground. One was struggling, still alive, but the rest were not, and it was terrible.
And I came running in behind her, and I saw the dog was there. The dog was not really aggressive toward us at all. If the dog would have been aggressive toward us, it probably something would have had to have happened that no one wants to talk about. But all the chickens were gone. Even the one that was just struggling. It was already
within
gone.
15 seconds. It was gone.
So we had to make a decision on what we were going to do. The other dog kind of ran down the street, and we haven't been here very long. The chickens have only been here maybe a couple weeks, so we were still kind of adjusting, getting an idea of what our perimeter of like what our enclosure needed to be, and how safe it was. And we came from a neighborhood, and there was a lot of dogs in that area. We never had any problems.
And we didn't have a fenced-in yard.
Yeah. So we thought we were actually going to be okay from dogs. I was more concerned about maybe coyotes or raccoons, anything getting in. And I really did a good job at securing the enclosure. And you would think that a dog would dig out underneath the enclosure, and we actually have hardware cloth
underneath,
so
nothing can dig up, under and get in.
Yeah. But the dog was just, I guess, super excited about the chickens, and he tore through the hardware cloth, and he tore his face up pretty bad to get in there. And it was just that adrenaline rush from a young dog that he thinks that these are toys for him. It was heartbreaking, but I didn't know whose dog it was, and I was concerned too that my dog could do something like this, and I wouldn't want anyone to hurt my dog. So instead of reacting just out of anger or and the demeanor of the dog kind of is what determined my attitude toward him. He was actually like happy, and he was wagging his tail, and like he had done a good job or something. And he just didn't realize that it wasn't out of a rage or an aggression. And I know some of you all are going to be like, I would have killed the dog. I understand. I wanted to kill that dog, but I didn't, just because I have kids and I have my own dog. So we did find the owner. He was very sorry and very upset with his dog about what happened. We talked to him again a few days later. He reimbursed us as more than what I asked for, what it would have cost to do anything. He went above and beyond. He actually rehomed the dogs, and a lot of that had to do with a past experience he had where stuff had happened with other people's dogs.
He lived on a farm before.
He had lived on a farm, and dogs had hurt a pet that he had. So he was really kind and very sorry for what had happened, which it helped. But you lose your chickens that you've had for a few years, and
And
it sucks.
you know, our flock, our egg layers, they're our girls. We don't have dozens and dozens of chickens just running around. And if we lose one or two, it's no big deal. These were our girls. They all had names. We raised them from chicks. Our daughter especially carries them around the yard. You know, we give them treats. They're more like a pet to us. That you know.
Usually egg layers are more like pets,
Yeah.
depending on how many you have. We only had 6 birds,
Mhm.
and that's not a lot, but it was more than enough for our family to. And you know,
we sold eggs.
and they did a lot for us. They provided a small amount of income for their eggs. They did a lot of work in the garden, and they took care of a lot of helped with a lot of the composting in the gardens. And you know, chickens are kind of pretty important when you have a garden.
They're a source of security for us to, you know, to have eggs if we needed it, or you know, we are expanding, we're getting a rooster and things like that. You know, that way we can raise our own if we need to, or have dual purpose and have meat birds. So they are important to our homestead, and it was a big blow for us. And now it feels kind of naked, you know, back here.
Yeah, you know, for 2 years, every morning you get up, you feed them. Every night you put them up, you collect the eggs, and now suddenly all that's kind of gone. We're not doing that anymore. You know, there's nothing back here. The good news is that a few weeks ago, before any of this happened, we had ran into some friends. We had talked to some people, and we ended up going to an egg swap with Monroe Family Farm. And it ended up being right down the street from us. It was a really neat coincidence of how it all worked out. They did an egg swap, and one of our friends who was going gave us egg because we didn't have any fertilized eggs, and we swapped, and we had a great time.
She gifted us a dozen fertilized eggs, and we've been incubating them. And theirs should hatch next week. We candled them. Everything looks good. So that just kind of happened.
Coincidentally.
It was coincidentally, that it happened.
And this kind of thing does happen. There's always setbacks on homesteads. You know, sometimes you get your plants in the ground, and then a frost comes and wipes out all your hard work. Sometimes a predator comes and you know, kills your birds. This kind of thing is just part of life. It is part of having a homestead. You have failures and you have success, and you can't let the failures just completely knock you down. You can't overreact to a point to where, you know, you know, if the dog had been aggressive, and I would have probably, you know, you would have had to done something. It wouldn't have been as easy as it was to find his home for him, and it all turned out, you know, good for the dog. He got rehomed, and he's not in a place to where we're gonna have to worry about him again. Most time, you know, a dog, once it eats, you know, gets chicken, it's back.
It's gonna come back.
So it worked out really well that, you know, we at least know that dog is no longer in the area, and we're not going to have to worry about it in the future. So you can kind of we had to clean up all the chickens. We composted them. We put them in the ground. There's still a lot of feathers. We got a lot of cleanup to do, and we got to get things ready for the new brooder, and so that we can get the chickens going again.
And we have more chicks coming later on in May, and so I believe I have 22 hens and 1 rooster coming, and we're looking forward to that. These were just our girls. They were our first.
Yeah, it was our first experience with chickens.
They were our pets. Yeah, and so it's been rough. It's been rough for me because I wanted them to have a good life, the best life that they could have, and I just feel like it wasn't fair. And so I've been struggling a little bit because, you know, I miss them, I guess. And it's been a big lesson for me. It's helped me to digest the things that can happen, what could happen. And like Derek said, just you have to move on. You have to take the next step and keep planning. And while it's sad and we will miss them, we'll recover and it'll be okay. It's just, it wasn't in our plan, but
yeah, and that's part of life, things that happen that aren't in your plans. And I know a lot of you all have reached out to us. We want to thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
We posted something on Facebook, and it was pretty overwhelming how many people were offering us chickens, and you know it's happened to a lot of you all. I mean, I can't imagine if we had a cow and something like, you know, you lose one of your cows or your goats or one of your other farm animals that is, you know, that is one of your pets, and just wanted to say thank you guys for reaching out to us and for
it's helped.
Yeah, it does. It is good to hear from other people that have went through the process of, you know, just went through the same kind of thing that happened. So yeah, we're gonna reinforce our chicken coop. We're going to put it back together a little better. We're probably going to we had some people recommend the solar fencing,
the electric fencing,
the cloth fencing.
I don't know that it would have stopped this dog. We'll show you here in a second, you know, where he chewed through, and after chewing what he chewed through, I don't think an electric fence would keep him out. I just don't.
He also got up. Some of the birds went into the coop.
They were hiding in the coop,
and he literally
busted through.
He went through the coop to get
the bottom wood of the coop, and you know, so this dog was very determined. I would have never have doubted our structure before with coyotes or raccoons, just because I mean, I just wouldn't have.
I would have thought if something was going to happen, it would have happened at nighttime, when you know, not in the middle of the day. When, I mean, it was around 11 o'clock. We left for the house for a couple hours, and you know, between 11 and like 1 or 2, you know.
Yeah, we weren't even gone 2 hours, like an hour and a half.
And the dog was in there in a way where he couldn't get back out.
He was stuck in there.
He was trapped.
And we have a hoop coop in the front, and we don't have hardware cloth on that floor. So we always thought if something was going to get in, it was going to dig under there at nighttime. So this side here is our hoop coop side, and it is chicken wire with cattle panel, and it's, you know, it's pretty secure, but we don't leave them in here at night. They're only here during the day, and we've never had any issues for 2.5 years. But at nighttime they go into their smaller coop. They come into this coop, and it does have a hardware cloth floor there. And then surrounding the entire coop is this hardware cloth. So you can see that's the 1/4 inch hardware cloth. I can't even hardly get my finger in there. And so it goes all the way around the coop. And some of our girls were in the coop. They were, I'm sure, trying to get away. And over here on this end is where the dog got in. I don't know if you can see it. Let me put my hand behind it. You can kind of see there. He ripped it from this corner, which I don't even know how that is possible, the way that this is attached. But he chewed it to pieces and chewed this corner out. And, you know, the only way I can think of is if this was double lined with hardware cloth, and I don't even know if that would have helped. And then if you look inside the coop, he busted through this whole area to get up inside where they were too. Okay, so that's kind of what happened, and we're trying to just move on and take the next step. And for us, that's, you know, new chicks coming, chicks in the incubator, and I think we're gonna try and go ahead and get some pullets that are ready. And we don't know what kind yet. I know the kinds that I like. I really like Morans. I like Rhode Island Reds. We had Isa Browns. So we're gonna look for some more and try and go ahead and get some more egg layers so we don't have to wait so long. But we just wanted to show you guys this, not to be like a Debbie Downer, but just to show that it happens. And I think that it happens to a lot of people. And there's so many people getting chickens nowadays, and you know, we all love our chickens, and we're just putting it out there that it can happen. And I guess I had never really thought that it could happen, and I really wasn't prepared for it. And so maybe this video can help prepare someone else, you know, that this is a possibility. Or maybe it'll help you to take a look at your structure of what you have and what maybe could you do to prevent this. And also, you know, if you're on the flip side and your animal does something to someone else's property, it's not that it's okay, it's just that, you know, we learned a lot through that whole process too. That's life lessons, I guess, are happening. And so, but we want you guys to come back with us. We're going to show you our new chickens, our new chicks, and I'm sure we're going to expand this because we have so many chickens coming. We're going to have a really cute coop, I think, really cool. We're going to take something and repurpose it, and it's going to be really cute. So guys, thanks for joining us today. I know it wasn't like the happiest of videos, but thank you for hanging in there, and we really appreciate you guys. Give us a like on this video, share our video. We really appreciate it. It does help us a whole lot. So we'll see you on the next one. God bless.